This one's called the border industry. Sheer scale of integrated concessions, construction, transnational subsidies, sheer scale of joint venture enterprise, more airport deals, more motorway stimuli, renewal of contracts, sheer scale of political relation building, deconstruction of potential pushback toll, profiteering dependence, quotas, sheer scale of status quo reputational damage, a more solid fucking grey, holding fund dividends, investment grade ratings, sheer scale of infratech structure, smart, prestigious and substantial payments, controversy and sheer scale of collapse and mega profits, climbing towards renegotiation of corporate boundaries, small print termination, sheer scale of super estate package elsewhere in Europe, worldwide projects, key projects, 170 million, 650 million, 717 million, 820 million, over a fucking billion, sheer scale of fences, of walls, of detention centres, of tear gas pills, of broken limbs, blood stains that you don't see, the traumatised, the dead.
From the land to the sea, praise Palestine.
Yeah, could give it a go. Yeah. Right, so this one's called the Health Secretary's Tale, because the guy it's about was the fucking Health Secretary when I wrote it. Unfortunately, now he's the Chancellor, so you can join the dots there.
Jeremy C.
Might work, please. See how it goes. There once was a creature called Jeremy, a truly miserable collection of cells, who decided his mission, his sole aim in life, was to have off everyone's health. He was smug and stubborn and ruthless. This scumbucket, he was all three. He'd smirk and grin and cackle. In others' suffering he found genuine glee. Shifty, malignant, reptilian eyes and a cake-old fond of lying. A face that only parents could love. I think even Jeremy's parents found it trying. Now Brighton's got some front, and so Southend-on-Sea. But neither compare with that fucking hunt, the stubborn skid-marked Jeremy. You'll notice I'm talking in the past tense. Why oh why could that be? Listen hard and I'll tell you more about the fate of our ex-Health Secretary. One day Jeremy got a disease. He couldn't get out of bed. His head was fucking banging and his arms and legs had turned to lead. Fever ravaged his body. His sheets were piss wet through. He ached and groaned all alone. Poor Jeremy didn't know what to do. And by the third day, things were no better. In fact, they were rather worse. He was shitting and spewing everywhere, and the air was blue with curse. So the scrawny weasel gave Luther a bell. Michael Goodsori had an healthcare plan. He booked himself in at the clinic and got his PA to call a man. The chauffeur came and picked him up and he hurried to drop him off. Cautious to avoid the product of his hacking, expectorant cough. And at the clinic he was treated like a 5-star guest, as if it were Ritz or a Hilton hotel. They hooked him up, they took some blood, said, "We'll sort you out, you'll be well." The drips went in, he got ECGs, he even got sent for a scan. He thought he were out the woods, he did. No more crouching over a luxury bedpan. But unfortunately, life's a bit of a prick. Some even say it rhymes with hunt. And in the dead of night,
Yes.
our wretched antagonist let out an agonised grunt. He writhed and twitched and just reached the button to call a nurse for help. His lungs were bollocks, his heart was screwed. So much for getting well. And the consultant runs up, does some odds, scratches his chin and then shakes head. Announces, right, without a cardiac specialist, this fucking Tory's dead. But nowhere in the luxuriant gaff could a heart expert be found. So they got on the phone for a state ambulance to take him to the infirmary across town. And on hearing these words in his pain-ridden state, the very blood in Hunt's veins froze. Thinking of the hands he'd be in and everything they'd know. But of course he'd fear their vindictiveness. He knew that he deserved it. He knew what he put people through, those on whom his life now depended. But luckily for Jeremy, most folk don't think like that. They don't have the moral compass of a long dead sewer rat. Granted, not a thing that's common in putrid Tory circles, but perhaps not lost on Jeremy as he turned an alarming shade of purple. The doctors, the nurses, the healthcare assistants, they tried their very hardest. Despite the spite he'd previously shown them to get his heart restarted. They wheeled him into theatre, they went about their work. Surgeon produced a scalpel and cut him open where it hurt. And as the surgeon did so, her eyes bulged from her very head. Sheet white, she turns to the nurse and says, "How the fuck is he not dead?" Confused, the nurse peers right over and doesn't see a throbbing, lively muscle. Just a shriveled, weakly beating lump of bitter, tarry gristle. And as they saw the veins pump sluggishly, the last bile and venom and malice, they realised that despite their honourable efforts, there's no cure for being terminally heartless.